talk to him.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Matt. Good to have you here. Let's talk about WWE, AEW news. We're going to talk about Jade Cargill because that was the biggest news coming out of yesterday, was that Jade officially signed with WWE. And boy, oh boy, did they ever roll out the big old red carpet, whatever they want to call it at WWE. But they did a lot for Miss Jade Cargill. They did a lot to kind of promote her as a big-time star. I really feel like they are going to push Jade, clearly, as a big deal. They definitely made it seem like it was something, because they didn't just have her show up at the Performance Center. We had behind the scenes, they had posts, Triple H commented on it. They made it a big deal, and that was actually pretty cool to see. Jade has comments on her time with AEW, opportunities that she felt she had and did not have, as well as, you know, how she feels about coming over to WWE now. She was at the Performance Center, stretching, getting all ready. So we have a lot to go through there today, guys. We got news regarding Brian Pillman Jr. We are also going to take a look at not only Jade, but a little bit of CM Punk news, Mandy Rose updates, The Rock with Elimination Chamber, Tony Khan maybe buying New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know about that one. We'll have to see. If you guys are going to enjoy your time here, sit down, relax. It's the morning. This is your morning wrestling news content of Let Me Talk to Ya. So drop a like, hit subscribe, as we're trying this week to get to 93,000 subscribers. So I appreciate it if you guys have already. If you haven't, drop that subscribe button. It's free. It's there. It's on the channel. It's easy to do. Let's go. Jade Cargill reveals why she chose WWE instead of AEW. Well, Jade did the big announcement. She had the big ESPN reveal. It was first reported by Fightful Select, but ESPN is the first one, I guess, officially. Speaking with the Ringers Masked Man show, Cargill was asked if there was a bidding war for her services, or if it was a hard decision to leave AEW for WWE. She answered, "I want to create a legacy. I want to be in the Hall of Fame. I want to wrestle the best women in the world. There is no grander stage than this stage. The opportunities are endless with this company. It was a no-brainer. It was very welcoming." Now, I want to pause there for a second, because this is the thing with WWE. It is just so, and it's not an AEW shot or, you know, ill towards AEW. I like AEW, but WWE is just the giant juggernaut, especially with the merger now. It's that much bigger. You can instantaneously make someone like Jade Cargill a star, if they want to or not. It looks like they are. But it is the biggest stage of WrestleMania, the biggest fans, the biggest venues, the opportunities to do Make-A-Wish, the opportunities to do movies, to do media, to do all of these different things. Admitting that her relationship with Cody Rhodes played a factor in her decision, Jade said he was top 3 and not 3rd. He is a phenomenal man. I've seen what the business did for him. I've seen him to be a stellar athlete that he is. I didn't see any different for myself. He was one of the guys that led me to a great decision. Ooh, Cody Rhodes, he's doing naughty business. He's not only the one that got Jey Uso over to Monday Night Raw, but apparently he also pushed Jade Cargill to sign. Oh my God, he's courting her. It is currently unknown how long Jade will spend at the Performance Center, and still not confirmed whether she will debut on the main roster or NXT. When asked what the current plan is for her in WWE, Cargill replied, "You're asking way too many questions. You tried to slide it in there, but it's not gonna happen." She's all sassy. When asked if she thought she had hit a ceiling in All Elite Wrestling, Jade answered, "I wouldn't say it's a ceiling. I would just say that the route I wanted to take was different, and the route I wanted to embark on was different. I didn't see over there where I could fit it." That's what she said. "The only way I could do it was coming to WWE Universe. But I bet on myself, and I made the best decision coming here." As previously reported, AEW President Tony Khan commented on Jade Cargill joining WWE during the WrestleDream media call. And yeah, reports coming from Fightful. So, Jade, courted by Mr. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes had a big influence bringing her over. Not surprised. But what do you guys think? I think Jade is going to do well. I don't know if she's going to go to NXT or main roster. That's the big question mark right now. Is where do we have Jade Cargill fit in with all of this? To me, Jade is probably, if I had a bet, and yes, Bam Bam, Jade in 2K24. Confirmed. Not confirmed. Just speculating. JC says, strap a rocket to her. Don't get nasty. I know what you mean, Yiji. Yeah, JC, I know. I do think that she will go to NXT. If you guys joined me yesterday, here's the thing. NXT is doing a lot of crossover with WWE Raw. They're blending things a lot more. NXT is very healthy right now, and it's taken, and kudos to Triple H and Shawn and not Vince and Bruce Pritchard and all those guys who crapped all over it. They brought it back, and now it's this healthy blend of, you know, newer talent, figuring things out. They have Level Up, but newer talent, some with a little bit of experience, and a blend of experienced, more veteran talent, indie talent. The roster is very healthy, and they tell fun stories, interesting stories on NXT. I hate the venue. I hate the way it looks. But I could see with what WWE is trying to do, they are building up the cred of NXT. It's also TV contract season. And so they need a home, unless it's already been figured out, but they need a home for Raw and NXT. Could it be USA? It could be somebody else. Could be Disney, ESPN, which is under Disney. It could be Amazon. There's a lot of options when it comes to Raw and NXT getting picked up. Or it could all just be under the umbrella of USA. We'll have to wait and see. But they're doing a ton more crossover when it comes to NXT, having Becky Lynch being the women's champion. And I said this yesterday. The NXT Women's Championship, the way it is positioned as of today with Becky Lynch, because it's on Raw, it ends up being the de facto mid-card women's title. And that's a great thing. What I really like is that if Becky defends it on NXT, it's obviously the main title there. When it comes over to Raw, it ends up feeling like the mid-card title. And I really like that. And if they want to continue that and have other stars, and even like we had the North American champion Dum Dum fighting Dragon Lee in a really good match on Raw. More of that. I like that a lot. It doesn't have to be like if they come to Raw with the North, like let's just say Dragon Lee wins the North American title at some point. I want to then see Dragon Lee show up on Monday Night Raw and defend against somebody from Raw and have a really good match, or a feud, or a TV feud on Raw, as well as something on NXT. And that way there is more crossover, and it makes something like the North American title, which is kind of the mid-card title on NXT. It also makes it feel like another mid-card TV title on Raw, because we have the Intercontinental, we have the World, we have then another title for people to play with. It creates more opportunities. And on the women's side, and specifically talking about Jade, that's where I feel like Jade could be a great start on NXT. Beat Becky Lynch for the NXT title. Becky then can go off to main roster again and either just focus on the Royal Rumble, where she might win it and be the one to fight Rhea Ripley. And in the meantime, you could have Becky go back and circle back with either Trish. She could fight Nia Jax. You could also have Becky just start mixing it up with Rhea. There's a lot of different things they could end up doing there. But I think if you had Jade show up on NXT, the ratings go up. You're not going to get Becky all the time on NXT, and that's the other thing. So if they really want to keep boosting NXT higher and higher and higher, and I do believe that, like, I got to look to see if the ratings are in from yesterday's NXT. They probably aren't yet. But if NXT's numbers continue to stay high, and then you put Jade in there, the curiosity of when is Jade going to arrive, and I believe to me it's going to be No Mercy. She's going to show up. If Jade shows up at No Mercy in the crowd and waves, you're going to keep every week getting more and more ratings higher and higher and higher, in my opinion. And then you're going to end up with a situation where you could have Jade dethrone Becky, then Becky, floats out of there, and now you have a big star in NXT. Then you keep Jade in NXT Well, for as long as you need. Maybe half a year, maybe a year. She could run the NXT women's brand. New, fresh rivalries, new women in there. And then, but I don't know if they would have her lose. Do you do more of a winning streak again like they did in AEW? I don't want to see that. I want to see Jade be vulnerable. I want to see more of her moveset and see what she can do athletically. Because she was pigeonholed in NXT with one freaking 2-minute match all the time. I mean, like Fernando Cruz in the chat here says that just get rid of NXT at this point. I don't need to lose NXT. But what I would love to do, see, NXT is pulling higher and higher numbers. If they had more and more star power, you could just have the first hour of Raw be NXT. If NXT gets hotter and hotter and hotter, why not? Just make the first hour NXT, and then it goes over to Monday Night Raw. Then you get the giant arena filled with people, and you have the likes of Jade and Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton and Carmelo and all these people. But it's a delicate thing. They want to have their own independent show. I get it. But WWE is reacting. They're reacting a lot to Jade. And you got Bailey making funny things on the Twitter. So with that, the role model took to Twitter, gave Cargill a warm greeting, saying, "Hello, I am the Tree of Life here in the WWE. Pleasure to meet you. Please feel free to watch very closely this Friday as I break down that cheating, nosy idiot, Miss Charlotte. Enjoy and welcome." Cargill seems skeptical of Bailey's intentions, replying, "Warm welcome from a role model. Heard from my friends you're also the one to look out for." Dun dun dun. It's going to get interesting. There's going to be a lot of feuds for Jade. A lot of feuds. I'm into it. I like to see what they're going to do. But what do you guys think? Do you think Jade is going to go to NXT? Do you think Jade is going to go to WWE Raw or SmackDown? I really feel like SmackDown is not in the conversation. I feel like it's going to be a little bit of NXT. Get her feet under her. Plus, you got to have her learn the NXT WWE system. Cameras. Just their entrances. Moves. Putting a WWE style match together. How, because we're only used to her with AEW and how they positioned her there and the types of matches she was allowed to have. We don't know what she's capable of having, and this is why when Jade eventually debuts, I hope she blows everybody away. She's super athletic, she's got all the star power, but with AEW we never really saw much because it would just be squash matches. Do the glam slam and it's over. I want to see more. So I really hope that when she comes out and debuts for whatever brand, that she does blow people away. Whatever happened to Gable Steveson? It just came in my head. I was like, what happened to that guy? He's still floating around, I think. He wasn't released. There's something that never worked out for WWE. Here's something that might work out for WWE. Brian Pillman Jr. introduced on WWE NXT. I missed NXT last night. I was sleeping. If you blinked, you may have missed it. But there's very reasonable cause to believe that a short vignette shown on tonight's NXT is related to an impending debut. On tonight's NXT, there was a short vignette shown that appeared to be a vintage television with them. Oh, I saw that. With the mysterious man sitting down to flip through the channels. You can watch it below. I won't play it here. The first channel being a news desk saying eyewitness news at 7. And then it flips to show the Cincinnati Bengals with another voice mid-sentence about Cincinnati Bengals training camp before changing the channel again. Landing on a vintage episode of WCW with Jim Ross' classic voice being heard to say, "Hello again, everybody, and welcome to WCW Saturday Night," and before the screen goes black. Last clue, the man shown appears to be wearing the same shirt that Brian Pillman Jr. wore on AEW television. This one. His kitty shirt. Pillman Jr. entered a period of free agency after he departed AEW back in July. Elsewhere in tonight's NXT, there's also generational talent got into several tussles as Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin brawled, spilled over dramatically. Brian Pillman Jr. leaning in. So doing a vignette with the WCW, pulling up that, great touch. Going back to the days of Brian Pillman in WCW, as well as his WWF run, I like it. I hope they lean into it. I hope they don't make him not Pillman. That's a very Vince thing to do. It's like, we have Brian Pillman Jr. right here. And they'll be like, we're going to call him Tim Pilsner. You know, like, they're just going to mess with him. They'll be like, we're going to call you Tim Pilsner the third, and you got to shave your head. And he'll be like, what? Just let me be Brian Pillman Jr. It's going to be interesting. I'm happy for Brian that he started with AEW. There were moments, and this is a lot of AEW's problem, like that I have. Brian freaking Pillman. The problem I have with AEW is, like, you see these talents from, you know, day one of AEW, and I'd watch something like the Hollywood Blondes, the Brian Pillman act. What was he called? What was his act in AEW's tag team? It wasn't Hollywood Blondes. What do they call him with his buddy? But anyways, they got Arn in there. But Brian was coming up in AEW and had singles matches. Varsity Blondes, thank you very much. You had the Varsity Blondes, you had Arn mixed in, you had felt retro vintage, you had Brian Pillman doing singles matches, and you started to feel like, oh, Pillman could break out. He needed a lot of work, he's very young, but for what they were doing with him on AEW in the early days, you had somebody that could have broken out with over time and could have been bigger right now. And the problem with AEW is they didn't do that stuff. That's okay. But now he's going to go over to WWE, he'll be in NXT. Pillman could, you give him time. I'm be very hopeful for Pillman. There's a beautiful but tragic story of his life and family. His dad was, you know, crazy respected in the industry. There's a lot of upside to Pillman. And so you could put him in a tag team, but I like to see what they could do with him as a single star. See if he can cut promos, and let's see what we can do. It'll be a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we're continuing on with the news. Before we do that, quick shout out to all of you. Thank you very much for being here. We got a lovely crew of people in the audience. By the audience, I mean the literal YouTube. 120 people. So if you guys can, drop a like here. If you enjoy your wrestling news on Let Me Talk to You. From Matt. Hi. Hope you're well. Jade Cargill, talk about her one more time, knows what brand she will be on. She made several media appearances, one of which was with ESPN. And when she did her ESPN thing, she says that Cargill shared that she knows what WWE show she'll be starting on, but people will have to watch every show to find out when she shows up. Interesting. So it has been hashed out as far as what show I'll be on, excuse me. And guess what? Everyone's gonna have to tune in to every network and see where I'm going. That's very smart, because then it'd just be like, try to boost those ratings for people to watch Jade and be like, is she gonna show up today? Is she gonna show up here? Is she gonna show up here? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to stir the pot and to get people guessing where I'm gonna be. So just tune in. She said, though, following up potential matches, she said Cargill was asked about a potential matchup with three-time women's champion Bianca Belair, and she feels it's worthy of a WrestleMania main event. I am looking forward to working with Bianca Belair, and it's definitely a WrestleMania main event. That's something that will have to be people glued onto the television screens. That's something that will have people buying out stadiums. That's a dream match, and I think people will show up and show out for that one. So they could do a couple of things with Jade here. They could put Jade in NXT and just do that. They could have Jade do kind of like, what was it? Edge? When Edge was trying to decide one of his matches for WrestleMania, and he started doing the rounds. So he visited all the brands. You could do that almost in reverse. You could have Jade debut on SmackDown or Raw. But I also think that's confusing. But you could, and I would worry that they would kind of oversaturate and, you know, underdeliver. I don't know how I feel about that. So they could do Jade doing the rounds of all the shows. NXT, then Raw, then SmackDown, and so she gets the exposure. But I would worry that they run into a problem of Jade never wrestling. People are waiting weeks to see what they do. And WWE thinking, oh, we'll tease this thing, but then it gets drawn out. I think you need to just have her show up on a brand, make an impact, and that's where she lands. I worry that you would have her just show up on everything for a week or longer, plus vignettes, interviews, and it becomes like, okay, is this girl ever going to wrestle? It's like a Gable Steveson. He's been drafted. He's going to show up here. He's not showing up. He pops up on SmackDown with Kurt Angle. Then he goes back to NXT. He's like, where is this guy? So I hope that they don't fumble it. That's my hope here, is they don't fumble things. All right, let's switch back. You want to talk about CM Punk? Let's talk about CM Punk. WWE management have bad feelings towards CM Punk. Oh no, Punk's still in the talks. Oh, it's gonna be a Meltzer. It's gonna be a Meltzer, guys. Meltzer driver. Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio from a locker room, a disrupted situation that those are leagues apart, you know, Riddle and Punk. There are a lot of people with bad feelings about Punk and management in WWE. There's nobody with bad feelings about Matt Riddle in AEW. Report is early September, not noted that CM Punk's firing, that he still had major heat with top WWE names. Punk, oops, I messed that up. Punk left WWE tumultuously circumstances back in 2014. Different company though now. That Punk has held talks with WWE over the past 9 years, though including wanting to return to the organization late 2022. Punk is currently a free agent after the altercation. President Nick Khan did say that, listen, we only have respect for Phil. We appreciate his run here. We appreciate what he did and tried to do with UFC. Not meaning people can actually get down and do what he did. So we have respect for Phil. We wish him nothing but the best. Could be back. He could not. I don't know. If you're going to bring him back, you do it at Survivor Series. Who is this management? It is all of management. We'll see. I don't know if Punk's gonna come back or not. He might. But if they did, it's Survivor Series or Rumble or bust. We shall see. You know who I want to see return back to some WWE TV? This lady. I need some Mandy Rose back in my life. Don't we all miss Mandy? I mean, we could see Mandy any day of the week. Just Google it. Mandy Rose opens to pro wrestling again. From Jack King. Former WWE superstar Mandy Rose is open to a return to wrestling. In an interview with TMZ, the former NXT champion spoke positively about her current pursuits, but admitted that she misses the wrestling business. Listen, she says, I do miss performing. I miss the what? Oh, the camaraderie. I miss that adrenaline rush for sure. I can't sit here and say I don't miss it. However, I'm keeping myself super busy not to have to think about it as much. And you know about the future, I'm a free agent now. If the right call comes around and I feel like making an appearance and coming back to any wrestling federation out there, maybe the World Wrestling Federation. I'm not saying it's a no, but right now I'm pretty busy. It has to be the right call. Money. Rose, real name Amanda Sacamano, was released in 2022. Fightful's reporting that this was due to the content she posted on her fan time page. And it was naughty. Butthole. If JC says in the chat, Mandy or Carlito? Right now, Carlito. You got Carlito. Put him on TV. Yes, Mandy was very naughty. But that's okay. I think she'll come back eventually. But where she's saying it's got to be the right call, it's got to be the right money. Let's be fair here. She's making obscene amount. Like if I was a chick, like if I was in her position, why would I, like literally her position, why would you go back to wrestling when you could post bikini pictures and make millions of dollars and show your butthole? It's just too much money versus like going to wrestle and hurting your body every night and being on the road and traveling, where she can just be at home and do photo shoots and do these things and make gobs of money. That ain't right, man. We will see. We will talk about what's being popped up in the chat right now. So like Zachary in the chat says Mercedes Moné replacing Jade on AEW. I do want to talk about that in just a little bit. But let's talk about the great one, the Brahma Bull, The Rock. Could The Rock be at Elimination Chamber? This was coming in from Cultaholic, and it's being reported kind of around the world. 2024 edition of Elimination Chamber is set to be a major event of the show, scheduled to take place in the Optus Stadium in Perth, Australia in February. Alongside the Chamber, the West Australian reported there is talk The Rock may wrestle at the February pay-per-view ahead of WrestleMania 40. The Rock has stated that he would be open to facing his cousin Roman Reigns at 40 in Philadelphia. When they did the, he did the interview where he said that it was locked in, but we couldn't just nail that thing. Despite the West Australia report, the WWE PR representative told House of Wrestling it was simply a case of tabloids being tabloids. The Rock recently returned to TV, took down Austin Theory with Pat McAfee involved. It's rumors. It's speculative. Finally, you said it, The Rock, without correcting it. See, it's been drilled in my head, FBE. You've been drilling me for days, brother, she said. So it's been working. It's The Rock. So The Rock is possibly coming back. Would he come back to wrestle at Elimination Chamber? Nah. Not in my books. The Rock is going to wrestle one time, in my opinion. And the one time is going to be for the biggest check, and it's going to be at WrestleMania. The man is not getting in the ring at Chamber, despite it being in like Australia and a big crowd. It's a month before WrestleMania. That is not happening. He's not doing that. I will be shocked if it happened. Also, would he travel all the way to Australia? Maybe. If the match is going to be set before WrestleMania, if the WrestleMania match is going to happen in itself, I gotta believe that The Rock is going to set things up at the Royal Rumble, get some teases going. We'll probably have a better idea if and when Cody gets drafted to SmackDown, because that is totally happening. But if he gets drafted over to SmackDown, that's going to set the wheels in motion for a Roman match. And it feels like if The Rock is going to happen, Cody did say that we're not in the third inning. So they're probably going to, if The Rock's going to happen, it's going to happen at WrestleMania 40 main event night 2. Main event of all main events. It's not going to be in Australia. Now, we could see a contract signing in Australia. What you could do is you could fly, if all the pieces align and the match is happening and it's all but confirmed, you could have at Australia show a couple of things happen. You could have Roman Reigns drop the title in Australia at Elimination Chamber. See, the thing is WWE has like these giant stadium shows. Like, to me, Cody can win the belt at the Rumble because it's a giant stadium. Do that for the main event of the Rumble. Then you move on Roman and Rock. And it gives Cody enough time to build up a feud of whoever he's going to fight against. That's also a big question mark no one's really talking about, is if Cody wins at the Rumble, who the hell is Cody going to fight for the Undisputed Championship? Royal Rumble winner? Randy Orton? We can talk about that. But if you do get The Rock, and that is confirmed, I think that what you end up having is Rock and Roman. Rock or Roman without the belt. Rock and Roman. Elimination Chamber. They both go to Australia to do the face-to-face. And make that a thing. Make that a giant thing. Because then you have Australia. You have all the press. You have Rock promoting it. Roman promoting it. WWE takes over Australia. It's a massive thing. So do all the marketing, do all the hype, do all the promotion stuff, and have Rock and Roman do a face-to-face in Australia at the Chamber. The crowd, the stadium goes insane. It's all, and then you just get them to sign on the dotted line. Roman gets a Superman punch in or something on The Rock. They could have Roman wrestle on both nights too, as JC's saying in the chat, if they want to do it that way. But Rock and Roman, that's the dream match. Speaking of dream matches, what other dream matches could we have for this guy? You think you know me. Mr. Sexton Hardcastle is coming out. We got an update on Edge to AEW. Edge's WWE contract is only days away from expiring, and the 49-year-old may well be AEW bound. Better Wrestling Experience has reported that Edge is apparently closer than ever to joining All Elite Wrestling. Have him go up against Christian. Christian's amazing right now. Just do that and let Edge get out of there. I don't need Edge on TV every week, but man, Christian's like my favorite thing on AEW. So just be fun. Edge is closer to AEW more than ever, apparently. Mind blown on how this business has changed, yet so similar to WCW, WWF. The E are playing the right cards right now, unless something big pops in AEW books in the future. I really doubt E come back with... Why is he saying E? WWE come back with a big money move for Edge. Doubt it. If I get updates, I'll let you know. Better Wrestling Experience tweeted. Edge's WWE deal with WWE is set to expire at the end of September. So when is there's Tony Khan news? We're gonna talk about this in a second. This kind of leans into, if I put my tinfoil hat on, it leans into Tony Khan, because there's news and rumors of Tony Khan who's buying New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's Edge floating around. Mercedes Moné is floating around. There's a lot of things, like, and then the rumor mill is like ramping up that Tony Khan, and he's also said in like the Wrestle Dream promo, I believe, that big things are gonna happen. Like, he's basically saying that he's got big announcements to make. Big announcements for Tony Khan vary. Let's be honest. Tony Khan, when he says I got a huge announcement, it's gonna be magnificent, it's gonna be the best thing ever. A Tony Khan announcement is not necessarily going to be a great big thing. Tony Khan says that, and then he ends up saying that he's got a main event booked for Rampage. So he went on a stretch for a while there, Tony did, where he was doing, I got a huge announcement, I got another announcement, I've got another one too I'm gonna throw at you. And it got so, like, it got silly, where people were like, okay, you're just announcing that you have a TV show. Like, no one cared. So, but there are a lot of factors going on with Tony Khan right now and this New Japan business. Tony Khan debunks the speculation that he's buying New Japan, though. During the media call for Wrestle Dream, Sean Ross Sapp asked Khan about the speculation that he's buying New Japan. The rumor heated up after Khan teased that a chapter in wrestling history will close and a new era will begin at Wrestle Dream. Get out of here, bro. I'm a little surprised as to how the speculation picked up, Tony Khan says, specifically the transactional nature of it. Because we have such a great partnership right now with him and New Japan, we're doing such great things with New Japan Pro Wrestling, so I was a little surprised to see that. Overall, I really enjoyed working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's been nearly 2 years. We've been partners now, and on it goes. We've worked together here in the US. There are people from AEW that have held belts in New Japan, and vice versa. Then he talks about Wrestle Dream, so I'm a little surprised at all the speculation. I don't know where it came from, but it's probably good timing to have a lot of speculation on the eve of Wrestle Dream. Tony Khan in this whole thing, he doesn't deny it. Sean Ross Sapp asked him, yes or no, you buying New Japan? He didn't say yes, and he didn't say no. I feel like it's too big of a thing, and it would get out if he was buying New Japan, if he was in talks to get New Japan. I don't want him to have New Japan. He took Ring of Honor, fine. He's got his AEW, fine. Don't start gobbling up other wrestling promotions. It's not good. It's not healthy. He can't book his own stuff. I like AEW, but like, he's got 3 shows and he could barely write TV for one of them. You just can't. So I would fear of more acquisitions. Now, what I think is possible is that Tony Khan and Warner Brothers Discovery are going to make the announcement. Warner Brothers Discovery, HBO Max, whatever. The streaming services deal is ramping up. Max is supposed to be getting the sports tier add-on for their streaming service. So it's going to get real expensive if you like HBO Max. So it's going to get expensive over there because they're going to add on, I believe, another $10 a month if you want to get sports content. That does not include wrestling AEW. It hasn't been announced yet. That was speculated to be included at some point. I think Andrew Zarian was talking about it too. It seems like that is going to happen. Here's what I think is going to happen. And I'm just a big old dummy in the chair. But I think Tony Khan with his whole, I'm making an announcement. It's going to be huge. It's going to be great. I love announcing things. I'm the best announcer of announcing things. I think Tony Khan saying it's an end of an era, new era begins. It could be Tony saying HBO Max is going to get all of AEW content. I think they'll still do all the TV. We could get, more likely, I think it's him just announcing that with Max and Warner Brothers Discovery that we're going to increase to 12 pay-per-views a year. That's been rumored. And then they'll put all 12 pay-per-views and specialty events, put them on the network and put them on Max. And hopefully, if they do that, it would end up being through the sports tier and not a separate wrestling tier. At the same time, if you're spending $4.99 or $5.99 add-on per month to get all of the AEW pay-per-views, or it's going to be $10, it's not terrible. I mean, it's a good deal. If you're spending $10 a month and you like AEW and you're going to get 12 pay-per-views a year, nothing wrong with that. It's got to be worth it to fans if they are going to do that. I don't know if that's going to be enough for fans, if they are going to get AEW, Warner Brothers Discovery, if that's enough. The other possibilities with old era, new era begins. William Burgess, super chat. Dude, thank you so much. Have an amazing show. Well, thank you, buddy. I hope you're feeling better. One of the things they could do with Tony Khan and his big announcements that he loves making all the time, Mercedes Moné, I don't think Mercedes will sign a multi-year deal with AEW. Just the impression. I feel like she likes having the freedom to be able to do and pursue whatever she wants. But they have such a big partnership with New Japan. It makes sense that he would be able to get Mercedes for a couple of matches. And I think they would end up doing that. Maybe for Wrestle Dream, maybe not. Depends if she's healthy again. Edge is the other one. And I don't think he'll just announce all this stuff in one shot. But if he could tease that he's got surprises coming, and you may know him, you think you know him, you could do something like that. But they got to do a big deal if they're going to have Edge come to AEW. It would be a good get if he got Mercedes and Edge. He loses Jade Cargill with big fanfare and big hype. I think Tony needs to be able to do more here. I'd like to see... Javi says, surprise, AEW is closing. No. I think it's most likely going to be the Warner Brothers Discovery deal. Tony likes to make these announcements where it's going to be him looking at the microphone being like, and not blinking, being like, thank everybody. Hey, everybody. Big announcement. I'm very excited. AEW is going to have a pay-per-view. Like, it's going to be just that. It's probably going to be the Max, HBO Max deal. That's what I think. And I think he's going to announce that AEW, we had the old plan, the old world of AEW was 4 pay-per-views per year. And now we're moving over to 12. And you're going to get 12 or maybe 8 pay-per-views per year. And you're going to get 4 televised premium pay-per-view events for free. Something like that, to give you a total of 12 pay-per-views. That's kind of what I guess. And then he'll say, and that'll all be with Warner Brothers Discovery on Max. Check it out, and then they'll say there'll be more updates once they figure out the pricing on it. Which I hope it just ropes into the sports tier for $10. But at the same time, if it's $10 for an AEW tier, like a wrestling tier, and $10 for sports separately, at least then as a consumer I have the option. So I think he could be teasing Mercedes, he could tease Max, and he could tease Edge at some point. I think he needs Edge right now. AEW, I feel, is just kind of doing fine. It needs a little bit more, but it's not doing as hot as I would like it to be. It needs more stories, but we'll see what happens. Last bit of news today, everybody. Roman Reigns, WWE date return revealed. Yeah. The return to Undisputed Champion Roman Reigns has officially been announced for an upcoming edition of Smack It Down. Reigns hasn't appeared on TV since August 11th. It's been a while. Holy smokes. He's had a nice break. Tribal Chief notably defended his Undisputed Championship against Jey Uso at the play. Reigns has now been announced for October 13th SmackDown at the... What is that? The BOK Center? The Bok Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The BOK or the Bok Center is shared the following update. that Roman Reigns is coming to Tulsa. October 13th. Now, let's look at this for a second here. Roman's returning. Cool. WWE play schedule. Always interested in the play schedule. Tim, yes, in the chat, says he's got to be teasing the next Saudi show. Makes all the sense in the world. So, with Roman Reigns and the plays, let's see, this works bad. All right, we got Payback. Superstar Spectacle, we did that. No Mercy is coming up September 30th, which I'm excited for No Mercy. It's going to be good. Let's look at this play schedule. Fastlane is October 7th, and I got some problems with Fastlane. I might talk about it later today, but it's going to be good. By the way, let's just say YouTube did an update. They now have a tab here where I can actually see in the live chat fan funding. So stickers and memberships and donations and things of that nature. So I really, really appreciate that, YouTube, because now it keeps things organized and I don't have to scroll and miss people's things. William Birch, I already thanked you, but I'll thank you again because Matt's car is all effed up today. So that super chat's going to go a long way, brother. It's like, oh no, my car. Daddy's got to drive somewhere. Oh, I'm so screwed. I got a lot of problems with Fastlane. It sounds like Frank Costanza. I got a lot of problems with you people. And you're going to hear about it. I think Fastlane is going to be okay, but I think the build has been terrible. We'll see. I get it, dude. And then you got NXT Halloween Havoc. November 4th is the assumed date of Crown Jewel. If Roman Reigns is coming back mid-October, then it kind of works out, doesn't it? What's that date? Like October 11th? No, wait, that doesn't make sense. 13th. October 13th in Tulsa. That gives Roman and WWE 1, 2, 3, 4. Gives them a month to promote Crown Jewel. So Friday the 13th, he comes back. That gives them a month to promote Crown Jewel. And then they move on to Survivor Series at the end of November. So really feels like you're going to get more Roman Reigns for Crown Jewel. They're going to build that up, and then they're going to build up to Survivor Series. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about, let me talk to you. And guys, thanks for coming here. We rebranded the show, our morning show. It's called Let Me Talk to Ya. So let me throw this at you real quick. I just felt like doing that. So, for Let Me Talk to You, let me talk to you about Cody Rhodes. War Games. War Games is happening. They teased it on Raw. You got 4 guys standing in the ring. War Games is going to happen. And I think at War Games, then it's going to be the split of Cody Rhodes. Either Kevin Owens is going to stun him because he's going to be fed up with Cody and his shenanigans. Cody's going over to SmackDown. On Raw, he was also wearing the blue tie. And he teased the third inning thing, and he teased the trade. So Cody's going to SmackDown. The question is when? It's got to be after Survivor Series. He's got Cody. Roman's going to do Crown Jewel. Maybe against John Cena. Maybe against LA Knight. Maybe 3-on-3 at Crown Jewel. Roman, Solo, Jimmy versus John Cena, LA Knight, and AJ Styles. That'd be a lot of fun. Keeps everyone protected. No one has to really kill themselves. You get LA Knight to get the win. Everyone goes home happy. You can do that at Crown Jewel. Then you got to get to Survivor Series. Then you're on the way to Royal Rumble. It goes fast, guys. But I do think that Cody Rhodes is going to SmackDown very soon. I want to see some deception. I want to see some sort of turn by somebody. And I think the only one that can do that is going to be Kevin Owens. The last thing I'll say for Let Me Talk to You, I'm getting a little tired of Judgment Day. I like them a lot. I really do. But I got to be honest. The way everything's presented on Monday Night Raw is getting way too boring and predictable. They're doing these stories, but I feel like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn fighting Judgment Day on Monday Night Raw. It just keeps going. It just keeps happening every week. Some combination of tag team match. It's like old WWE booking where they're just like, okay, and the main event is going to be just this combination tag team. Same thing over and over and over again. It's my only complaint. Do I like Judgment Day? Yeah. But it's just getting boring in terms of the delivery. And they dropped the whole Kevin Owens anger issue story. So, I need more. I wish they would split the tag team titles. I like Finn and Damian having the undisputed tag titles, but they're just, I get this is a story, and I get that they're going to be moving towards Survivor Series. I get it. But it's just so much of the same thing all the time. So it's getting a little boring. And Greg, you say it in chat, they don't really have any tag teams right now. I do kind of agree. They do have tag teams, but they're not being utilized. And the tag team division is always an issue in WWE, regardless of Triple H or Vince or whoever's running it. It always seems to be a bit of a problem. But we're going to wrap up the main show here for you guys. Stick around if you are joining me live right now in the chat, because we are going to just talk to you a little bit in the chat, going through, answering your questions, your comments, your concerns. But if you guys are watching this on demand, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Let me talk to him.